This show is produced by the United Way of Massachusetts Bay. And just to give you a little bit of information about the United Way is New England's largest charitable organization. It gives money to more than 200 human and healthcare agencies, serving more than 1.7 million people in 81 eastern Massachusetts cities and towns. And today in the studio with me is Tony Ferrulo doing the production. Thank you very much for being here, Tony. And today our topic, or actually the guest that we have on, is Debra Jefferson, who is the Manager of Development and Finance from the Urban League of Eastern Massachusetts. And thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Today, Debra. And as I neglected to say, this is a live interactive call-in television show, and please feel free to call in at any time if you have any questions. We would encourage and would like you to call in. The number is 973-4848, 973-4848, as you see flashing across the bottom of your screen. Again, welcome. And I'm just going to start out and ask you a little bit about yourself personally, how you got started with the Urban League of Massachusetts before we get into what the organization actually does.
Sure. Mine may be somewhat of an interesting story. I had never worked in a nonprofit organization before, and this was my first opportunity. I'd worked in the private sector, and my background is in marketing and finance. And I was making a career change and felt that I was tired of making money in the corporate world and for somebody else, not me obviously, and wanted to make a shift and really wanted to make a difference, particularly as it related to my community. And I came upon the Urban League as a consultant on a part-time basis. And as most nonprofits go, if you can wear more than one hat, they welcome you with open arms.
I greatly appreciate
that.
Yes.
So that's essentially what happened. I came part-time to help out in the area of development and finance, and presto bango, I was a full-time person in a matter of weeks. And so that's kind of how it happened, and I ended up with a whole new career that is very rewarding and very enjoyable.
Good, excellent. It's good to hear that. Can you give me a little bit of history, I should say, would you give me a little bit of history about the Urban League itself and how it started, how it was conceived, so to speak?
Well, the Urban League, I think everybody, for the most part, has somewhat of a conception of what they think the Urban League is all about. But it is an organization that is over 75 years old. It's the second oldest civil rights organization, not only in Boston, but in the U.S. And it started out, particularly here in New England, as a way to help blacks that were coming from the Caribbean and from southern states in the U.S. as they were migrating north to take advantage of the industrialized New England, the mills and all the things that were going on there, because the Industrial Revolution was occurring in the early 1900s. And so they were coming because they wanted to take advantage of this opportunity.
Right.
And there was no way for them to be able to do that in the traditional settlement houses that existed, because they really did not cater to people of color. So the Urban League was started as a way to assist people with basic living services, housing, jobs, as well as being acclimated to their work environment, work retention, work readiness, employment and housing issues. It's kind of how it all started.
So initially it just started out in servicing people in terms of their everyday needs.
Right, right. Essentially that's it. But what also happened was there was a need to create, I guess, a social service kind of a structure to be able to assist these individuals. So other urban leagues sprang up. But it all originally started in New York, and then there were these branch operations in major cities to be able to assist people that were migrating for opportunity.
Okay, good. By the way, you are watching the Answer Channel. This is a live interactive call-in television show which is produced by the United Way of Massachusetts Bay. And in case you're channel surfing and you just tuned in, our guest here today is Debra Jefferson from the Urban League of Eastern Massachusetts. And if you would like to call in at any time, we welcome your calls and would very much appreciate it. The telephone number here is 973-4848. 973-4848, as you see going across the bottom of your screen. What are some of the programs that the Urban League participates in, if not they do overall?
Well, it hasn't, to be honest, it really hasn't changed much from the original origin of the Urban League. We are still fundamentally an organization that promotes the improvement of the quality of life. And those things have mainly to do with education, employment, and personal development. Is there a call? I'm picking up something.
That's okay.
Here.
Just keep going.
So basically our focus is education, employment, and career development.
Mm-hmm.
It hasn't always been that. Particularly here in Boston, the employment component is particularly critical because there was the Massachusetts Miracle, then there was the Massachusetts Depression.
Right.
So now hopefully we're on the rebound as far as economic opportunity, and nowhere is there needed employment, education, and personal development but in the African American community of Boston.
What are some of the specific programs in terms of the name of the program and also what the program does and how you are engaged in the program in terms of helping people? Okay.
We have an Employment Resource Center, which is a combination of a variety of different services. There is a walk-in service for people interested in identifying specific job opportunities, resume development, interview skills. There is also a program that we receive funding from the Massachusetts Department of Highways that's related to the Third Harbor Tunnel, Central Artery.
Interesting. How is that related? How does that work?
Well, what we are is we're in collaboration with a number of other organizations in the Boston area, and there's a training program that's provided, but we provide a mini training program to some degree to assist people in being able to assess their skills, to be able to go on to some technical training in order to be qualified for future employment. This is the second year that we're doing that program, and it's been quite successful.
And so these are some of the job in terms of your involvement with the Harbor Tunnel project. Is some of the training that you're doing geared toward finding people jobs on that project?
There's no guarantee. Let me make that very clear. There is never a guarantee about a specific position.
Right.
What we try to do is provide a training opportunity so that people are eligible on a technical training end to be considered for positions. But that's crucial, that's critical. And it may not necessarily be with that particular project. It may be, these are transferable skills that can be used in any other capacity. We have another program that's funded by the Department of Labor. Actually, we're one of 10 urban leagues that has this program. It's called the Seniors and Community Service Program. And what's interesting about this is that it is specific to senior citizens who are 55 years or older who are at or below the poverty level as far as their annual income. And it is an employment and training program to assist seniors in developing skills, employable skills, so that they can go out and be self-sufficient and to re-enter the workforce. And we've had that program for 16 years.
Wow, so I take it that it's pretty successful.
Yes, it is exceptionally successful.
Do you find, just as a quick aside, do you find that they are looking to basically start all over again, being in that position of having to work, or do a lot of them actually want to work because they're retired and bored, or are they working for the same reason that a young person would work, which is basically to survive? What position do you find them to be in?
It's very interesting. There's a real difference in the work ethic and the work ethic in relation to one's age and one's maturity. We do service a full range, both from 8 to 88 as far as the number of people that we have as participants in our various programs. What we find is that senior citizens are just as willing to work as anyone else because you know, when you have a job and when you feel as if you're doing something valuable or doing something and you're earning a living, you feel a real sense of self-worth.
Right.
And I think that's the common thread with any type of employment situation is that feeling of self-worth.
Excellent. You are watching the Answer Channel. This is on BNN, the Boston Neighborhood Network. And this show today is produced by the United Way of Massachusetts Bay. I am interviewing Debra Jefferson, who is from the Urban League of Massachusetts. My name is Darrell Best, and I'm here in the studio with Tony Ferrul today, who's handling the phones. This is a live interactive call-in television show, so we welcome your telephone calls to 973-4848. What are some of the other programs that the Urban League is
okay, I get to talk about everything else that we do. Like I said, education is another one of our focuses because without education, you know, I mean, everybody knows that you need that to be able to succeed in life. Our educational programs called the Youth Education and Development Program is a school-based program. We're in 4 schools, elementary and middle schools, and we focus on prevention and intervention and behavior modification, if I can use that terminology to some degree, to provide an alternative way of thinking about life. The belief is that if you can intervene in the development of a young child in the inner city, you have a better probability of being able to alter those beliefs and alter their ability to succeed in society.
Right.
One of the things that's critical to the program is not just the economic or the academic focus of the program, to make sure that we focus on, you know, math and science and reading and things of that nature, but also the understanding that self-confidence and self-esteem are critical to the development of that individual. So we infuse, or I think we're pretty successful in infusing a better sense of self in the youngsters that are in the programs,
right.
And in the developmental and the self-confidence approach that we take.
Right. Very good. By the way, if you would like information about the Urban League, or if you would like to call their offices, they can be reached at the telephone number that's now on the screen, 442-4519, and you can call and just ask a question, and I'm sure someone there will point you in the right direction as to the information you would like to receive. I know the acronym CMEP, and
Yes.
I'm going to ask you, what
Yes.
does that acronym mean?
Yeah,
And what is it about?
That is such an exciting program. It is called Community Mobilization and Empowerment Project. And to give you a little bit of history as to how that all started, it came out of something else that we had called the 10 Demandments Project that occurred shortly after the Rodney King riots in Los Angeles. And one of the 10 Demandments, or the first one, was a demandment on the community itself, to empower the community, to improve the community, and to take ownership and responsibility for your community. And CMEP, Community Mobilization and Empowerment, is a project that has long-term goals. And what is unique about this program is that we are trying to identify particular outcomes. A lot of programs that are called empowerment and that are called community mobilization don't really have clear-cut outcomes, but that's something that we are focusing in on with this program, this project. It's the two-model type of approach. One is the establishment of a coordinating council, which is made up of stakeholders in the community, people who are respected in the community, like Dr. Hubie Jones at Boston University, Gail Snowden at First Boston Community Bank, and a variety of other individuals, Ron Ankrum at the Bank of Boston, the religious community, the other portions of the academic community, the Boston school system, to try to come up with standards that we can establish for the improvement and specifically the development of children so that they can be prepared for the 21st century. The other part of that program is working with individual community-based organizations in Roxbury, the Roxbury Y, the Roxbury Boys and Girls Club, and Crispus Attucks. And what is special about working with them is that in order to address the particular problems that we face, self-confidence and self-esteem is the core of those problems. And what we're doing is we have a tool, and I hate to use the word because it doesn't really make a lot of sense to a lot of people, but the tool is called efficacy. And we have gone into collaboration with the Efficacy Institute to be able to utilize that human development framework. If that doesn't sound kind of strange, hopefully I can translate it or explain it with layman's terms. But fundamentally what it is to mobilize your available resources for development. And that means improve your self-confidence, apply effort, and you can reach the moon for the most part. Okay,
good. You're watching the Answer Channel. This is on BNN, the Boston Neighborhood Network. This is a live, interactive television show, cable television show. And my name is Darrell Best, and we are here today with Debra Jefferson. We, meaning myself and Tony Ferrulo in the booth. We have a caller at this time, so I'm going to take this call. Hello, caller, are you there?
Yes, I am.
May we have your question?
Yes, this is for Debra Jefferson. I was very curious. I remember the 10 Commandments coming out soon after the Rodney King verdict, and I was curious if the Urban League ever did anything to follow up on those 10 Commandments.
Yes, there were a number of accomplishments that the 10 Commandments were able to successfully say. There were different commandments, and they focused on different issues.
Right.
Some were economic development, some were academic focused, some were community-based focused. Daycare was another area that was addressed, and we've had, I believe, a number of press conferences talking about our accomplishments with that. And one of the ones that we were able to accomplish was there was a concern around Roxbury Community College, and that being somewhat swallowed up by the academic system and losing its cultural identity in the Roxbury community. We were able, through the 10 Commandments Project, to sustain Roxbury Community College as a separate institution and to not be swallowed up by the larger institutions and to leave its identity separate within the Roxbury area. The other one is Ralph Martin, the district attorney of Suffolk County. I think is another result of the 10 Commandments Project. One of the areas that I think that I will say openly that I don't believe that we were extraordinarily successful on, and that is the issues around daycare. Because before you can get anywhere, if you've got human issues such as daycare, that is one thing that I don't think that we were very successful yet on. But there are a number of other things, and if you're interested, we have a whole host of specific updates on the commandments, and we can send you that pamphlet that we do publish, and we'll be happy to provide that to you.
Thank you.
Okay,
You're
thank
welcome.
you, Paul. And the telephone number that you can call if you'd like a list of the commandments is currently on the screen, 442-4519, 442-4519. Well, we're at a point where we have to wrap up soon, but I want to ask you just a couple of quick questions. One is, why is the focus of the CMEP program, why is it solely on children? And two, what is unique about this particular program as it relates to children? If you can answer those really quickly.
I'll do my best. The focus is on children, because children that's our resource. That's our resource in our community, and that is our most precious resource, not to belabor that point. But the focus is on children, but not to also not include everybody else. In order to be able to focus on children, we have to be broad-based about that, and also transform our institutions, transform our adults, transform their thinking around the model of development. And that's what's unique about this program, is that this project, is that it is a transformation of the understanding of the human potential and the development of a human being.
Okay, well, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Appreciated your time here today. We are wrapping up the show now, but we have a quick answer channel special notice. So, yes, I'm going to read this to you. The answer channel, channel 24, will be closed for routine maintenance and staff vacation from July 25th through August 5th, 1994. We will resume normal operations commencing Monday, August 8th, 1994. If you have any questions, please call. It says please call me, but you can't call me, but please call Rob at 720-2113 extension 26. We apologize for any inconvenience this may cause you. Sincerely, Rob DeRosa, Program Manager. Well, that is our show for today. In wrapping up, we hope that you have been enlightened a little bit more about the Urban League. And one thing I'd like to mention, you are located on Blue Hill Ave. No, Warren Street.
Warren Street.
88 Warren Street in the heart of
Dudley Square.
In the heart of Dudley Square. And I'm sure that they would welcome anyone stopping by to ask for information. Know the Urban League.
Can I plug an event?
Sure.
We're having actually a membership event on the 18th of July, Monday night, at the Regatta Bar at the Cambridge Hotel.
Okay, and be sure to attend. I'm sure it will be worthwhile. And the Urban League is in the community and trying to help the community, and that's that. So in any case, we are out of here for today as Tony gives me the signal. And we hope you enjoyed the show, and we will be back. We will be back next week, and stay tuned for us. This has been the Answer Channel on Channel 24, BNN, Boston Neighborhood Network. This show is produced by the United Way, which gives money to more than 200 human and healthcare agencies serving more than 1.7 million people in 81 eastern Massachusetts cities and towns. And my time has been brought here by Intelitech Consulting Enterprises, taking the headache out of office computing. Have a good day, and you'll see us next week. Ciao.